I'm not good at talking for ages without
Well,
a
good
question.
evening. It's Lilia here from Heal Scotland, and tonight I've got with me Lorna Willock. Um, Lorna and I did the same course many years ago, and Lorna has got her own food clinic
Yeah,
and has been helping people with their nutrition, but also with their food intolerances. Lorna, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Great. There's a little bit of a delay, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to catch up. Um, so tell us, so you're coming to the festival, that's very exciting.
Yep.
And it means that people in the Argyll area and people that are coming to the festival, if they want to have this food intolerance test done with you, they can come and
hmm
meet you and get a full nutrition. And it takes about 2 hours, is that right?
Yep. The whole package is 2 hours. I'll like everybody to fill in a questionnaire and a food diary so that I can see what health history and
Hmm.
what their kind of week's typical food intakes like. Or
Hmm.
they could take if somebody knows they want to come and see me, they could do a food diary for the week before, whatever suits them. I don't mind. It could be typical or specific,
Now, can
but
you
just as much
explain
detail as I can get.
uh why you need this amount? Why do you need the food diary? Can you explain that?
Yep, though the food diary will just let me see whether there's any food deficiencies on any vitamins, minerals, whether you're actually eating the same food 4 times a day and don't realize,
Mhm.
because people eat Weetabix and then a sandwich and then pasta and don't realize how much wheat they're maybe eating in a day. So it's just
Yes.
to for me to see that and for me to show that, because we don't look at our food diary in that way,
Mhm. Yeah, I
or
think
we
that
don't look at how we're eating in that
the
way.
minute you start writing a food diary, I think you probably can see for yourself a lot of the
You do. People really start to notice what they're doing and they don't notice normally. So even that is therapeutic
yes, absolutely.
just in itself.
And can you talk about your food, your testing device, how it works, and etc.
Yep, it's a vegan machine, and they came from Germany, and it works on it's like a visual kinesiology for a way to explain it, but it works on energy. So it's only showing it'll only test positive problems to foods you eat. So you have to be actually eating something. If somebody's given up gluten or wheat or milk and they come for the test, it won't show a problem.
Hmm.
So if you want a result on something like that, you need to eat it. Although mostly if someone's having serious problems, I wouldn't want them to eat it. I'll just give them more good ideas on what options to have.
Yes. Don't you think people just need to know what ideas for different breakfasts, different lunches? Dinner
Yeah.
usually is fairly easy. You can have some protein, whether you're vegan, veggie or not, and then
hmm
the veggies. But
Yeah.
it's the breakfast and lunch that can trip people up because that's normally when you put toast or something into the toaster, and maybe a sandwich or a wrap or something like that at lunchtime. So how do you find
Yep.
weaning people off wheat?
Or I just love giving people options, and I've devised some recipes. So basic, easy cooking would help, but usually somebody in the family's up for doing something exciting. So I've been putting together recipes for these interesting gram flour pancakes. So last weekend for my first one was spinach and mushroom, which
Oh,
was
nice.
really nice. Actually, really worked. So I'm always devising other optional things, and I just think people eat too few things. It's not like I don't feel I cut back on people's choices by being an intolerance tester. I
Uh-huh.
feel like at the end they get more because they don't have many choices or they haven't thought about it.
Yes, I
So
think we are
that's and
creatures.
that's nice.
Yeah, we are creatures of habit.
We are.
So we
Sorry
tend
if you
to.
can hear something in the background. It's my dogs come in. Apologies.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Should have locked the
Dogs are
door.
welcome. Mine is usually up here pestering me, but she's lying sleeping just now. So, what kind of is everybody allergic to wheat? I mean, is that kind of genetically modified,
Mm,
gluten-filled wheat? Is there anybody that can actually eat it and not be affected?
there's a few. There's
Is it?
there's a few people with extremely strong constitutions, but they may also feel better without it. But it doesn't test as a problem. And some people don't eat as much.
Yes.
Some people eat a lot. Some people don't eat much, so they can cope with the little bit. But whether they possibly feel so much better having something else. So that's for them to choose just to get ideas. That's where the nutritional side and the fact that, I love good food and I love to think about options. That's where that side comes in rather than just the test on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're a foodie and then you can give
Mm.
lots of interesting options, then people go away and know what to do.
And sometimes it has to be ones they can buy as well because they can't cook or they haven't got the time or they haven't got the energy. And whilst they regain energy, it's like that'll help for a little while, as long
Uh-huh.
as it's not massively processed, because I'm really against
Yes.
anything like that.
Have you read Ultra Processed People yet?
Ultra processed. I've read half of it. I kind of the bit I didn't really completely go with was the supplement section, because strategic use of food state supplements is really helpful when people are really low in energy and they really need help. I think they're really helpful.
Yeah,
But again, it's knowing which ones, and not obviously they may be referring to Tesco's
yeah,
forms that you can't assimilate, or your body would just think it was another allergen because
yes.
it's not known by the body. But there's good ones. There's really good ones out there.
What brand have you? What's the good vitamins that?
Oh,
What
well,
brand?
Cytoplan. I'm still using
You still using
Cytoplan. I
Cytoplan?
love that company.
Yes. Are they still family run?
I think so.
Uh huh. Yeah.
And
They're all
yeah,
ethically
they're,
sourced.
they're sound.
Uh huh. Yeah. So
And a
that.
few others. I love Kiki.
Uh
Kiki
huh.
are I remember seeing them at one of the health shows, and all the staff were glowing. Whereas a lot of these health shows you go to, everybody looks really stressed and slightly sick. And they
What?
just and they were kind of youngish, but they were all really kind of talking the talk and walking the walk. And it's a lot to do with greens and powders and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
collagen things, and
Uh huh.
I that's another company I'll use a lot.
What about Mad Diet?
Which one?
Mad Diet. She's Scottish.
Ooh, good. Well, then I need to research them. I don't know.
She used to work
Mm.
in the industry. She understands what's happened to her food. And I
Oh,
can't remember
good.
the name of that. Susie, is it? Yeah, so I think it's quite nice to support a Scottish based company. I don't know whether they're made here,
It
but
absolutely is, right. I'll write that down because I want to look it up. No, if I
she
can
gives,
support anything Scottish,
uh
wonderful.
she gives out a lot of great advice. So, what kind of things? Give us a few ideas around breakfasts then, if you're cutting out wheat.
Okay, well, you can go down the fruity line and go in for like a lovely fruit salad with uh it could be a coconut yogurt and then tons of nuts and seeds all topped on top of that.
Mhm.
You can go for a cooked thing. I mean, I see like these pancakes I was talking about. I mean,
Mhm.
these topped with egg, maybe extra spinach, maybe extra veg at breakfast, then great. Best time for a green drink is like definitely first thing to go into you,
Yeah.
because that's going to be assimilated. And if you have got stomach, some people have got really bad gas problems. So doing that later in the day can cause them problems.
Yes.
Other ones that I really like is the porridgey world of
Uh-huh.
doing things to oats, organic oats, because they are the best.
Uh-huh.
And then adding in it could be fruity, it could be savoury, but
Yeah, it can be spicy, can't it, as well?
it could be spicy.
Mhm.
So just again, giving lots and lots of different ideas.
Mhm.
Which other breakfast routes do I go down? Cottage cheese sometimes. Again, if you can find organic, is
Uh-huh.
quite because that's high protein, low fat. But
Yes.
not that I'm fat, not that I'm into low fat. I'm not actually.
Uh-huh.
I think good fats and proper fats are totally up there.
Yeah, very
It's the carbs more.
anti-inflammatory. Yeah, carbs
Yeah.
are the big problem, there's no doubt.
Yep, they totally are.
I
And
don't know if you've watched Jordan Peterson and his daughter Michaela. They were, well, Michaela got 2 hips replaced at, I think it's either 2 hips or 2 knees at 16, terrible arthritis,
oh my,
and then
yeah.
tried lots of different diets, and now the 2 of them, all they eat is steak,
So
and
that's the lassie that's on the carnivore diet, yeah,
they've been
or so.
completely healed, with that, 4 steaks a day and fizzy water, and she says, "I can drink vodka,"
Mm.
you know, but, that's the only food, and if she tries any carbs, she gets all the symptoms back. So, it just shows you. It's like, what on
Well,
earth?
we're all different. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't personally do that. I wouldn't want to.
No, either would
I mean,
I.
certainly the short term. I don't know about the long term. That's the only thing. But taking out the things because it would take out all her whatever her allergens were in there and why they were there
Mhm,
would be down to her microbiome anyway.
mhm.
So I'm not. I'm a million miles away from. I've advocate a balanced diet, but yeah, definitely these carbs are inflammatory.
Yeah, well, it just seems to be that, so I know certainly with me since the menopause, my carbohydrate tolerance has gone way down. I've had to
Right.
cut it back. My daughter can eat probably 3 times as much as me and still, keep in a almost a fasting state. It's so interesting, and I didn't
Mm,
realize that in actual fact, type 2 diabetes this can come with the menopause. I didn't know that until
yeah.
I've not got it, but I certainly, my blood sugar started to
You
elevate.
feel your blood sugars could go there.
Oh, aye, and
Yeah.
it's in the family, so, it's definitely,
And then
um
then you know that in the family you've got some kind of SNPs that are going to be
exact
potentially problematic. So take action because whatever they are, if we
yeah.
take action against that happening, then our epigenetics, we won't get it, then should be fine.
Well, exactly. I mean, I know perfectly well what to do. It's the continuous. I mean,
Ah, it's
there
doing
is
it. Sure.
the reckon, like, I can see Lorraine's on there. Hi, Lorraine. Had a brilliant chat with Lorraine the other day about,
Mm,
taking everything out for 30 days, cleaning the diet up, and then adding
yeah.
one food back in so that you yourself, without a whole load of, different tests or anything, can start to see whether the body's having a reaction to that. And I think that's really great
Yeah.
advice. But
Yeah.
also, it's what can happen with people is it gets really confusing. Especially, it's been interesting because I've been staying at my daughter's with my 2 grandchildren and the dog, and you actually
Yeah.
forget when it's just me. I've got all the time in the world to do whatever the hell I want in the mornings. But now it's like, when you've got kids and that, you just
Hmm.
don't have the same
No,
time.
you don't. You
There's
don't. I know you can't just.
reality. So it's quite nice to be able to sit down and see, right, okay, well, let's cut that out. So how often would you test somebody?
Ooh, people come back to me after a few years. I mean, if they feel they've got some other issue, they'll
Uh-huh.
they'll come back. But I don't. I don't. I'd rather just kind of follow them with how good their basic diet is, because depending on what they're basically doing, they're going to have more or less intolerances because, well, obviously the menopause does bring on things with changes of hormones,
Uh-huh.
but just not eating well or being really stressed for a long, long time, the effect of that on our bodies starts to kick into different foods. So I think it's more like everyone, like dentists, everyone should have a 6-month nutritional checkup to see what they're doing
Absolutely, that's a great
and
idea.
put them back on track. And I don't have, I should do that. I mean, a lot
Uh-huh.
of people say, why don't you do that? And because I don't ever want to push for spending more money,
I know, I
I
know.
just let them get on with it. But actually, maybe it's a disservice because it would be so good for their health, which is the biggest thing we have. It's the main
Absolutely.
thing we have. It's like we got to be
Yeah,
healthy and got to be
absolutely.
happy. And if we're not healthy, we're not going to be happy.
I know, I know. And I think now you
So,
watch the NHS and the care system and you think like, what is going to be available in 10 years' time? It's just,
well,
how's the world going to
sure.
look? You know?
We need to be healthy. We need to be healthy. We're not going to have a health system because it's not going to be affordable.
We
Type 2
certainly,
diabetes will take it down.
yeah. Uh-huh. I know, absolutely.
Scary.
So what kind of, would you say over the last 20 years, who you're seeing and the kind of types of dis-ease have changed? What are you seeing?
Ooh, God. Got things. Always got things. More skin things. COVID's done something negative for people's immune systems, and it's kicking off in their skin. So there's loads more skin problems, and that's the last 2 years, never mind the last 20.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Uh,
And do
I
you
just
think
think
that's
there's
body
more
type
people.
out through the skin?
Yeah,
The routes of
I mean,
elimination blocks. I mean, what?
yep. Yeah, I think we're just putting more problems into our body, and it's our liver's going to struggling. Everything's struggling,
Yeah, I
and
know.
and energy's struggling. So again, I mean, if the energy is not there to eliminate, then it's got to use every possible route because. I mean, our bodies are marvelous. I mean, I keep thinking we feel no. If anyone ever says the body lets them down, it's like no, they're letting themselves down. Their bodies are
We
actually like
no, we let our
doing a
bodies.
superb job.
I know exactly. It's always
Of
trying to rebalance and heal.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, it is, and it can, which is wonderful. Even I mean, kids are brilliant. They heal so fast.
Yeah.
So working with them is just a joy because they're sorted. You know, if you get the right thing, they're just bouncing around again.
Uh-huh.
And other people, it takes a wee bit longer, but they're still back
Well,
to being. And when you see somebody glowing, that is precious.
absolutely.
And that is what we all need. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my aunt, who's 89, last
Mm.
year she was in horrendous pain and a huge amount of drugs. And we just kind of
Oh,
we weaned her off everything. And I make her
great.
very simple but very clean food and soup, etc. And you should see the
Yeah.
difference in a
Oh,
year.
it's wonderful,
She's
isn't it?
89.
Yeah.
You know, she
Mhm.
blows me away and she's as sharp as a tack. I mean, she's not as
That's good.
mobile as she would like to be, but my God,
Yep.
you're like, we're all like that. What the hell? Because we didn't
Yeah.
expect it to happen. We were told that it was a kind of a, downward trajectory, but it just shows you.
Oh,
Um,
well, I think we can live so well, and I mean that's the other thing. It's like I mean, okay, yes, aging. We're going to slow down. I mean, let's be somewhat practical, but not to not doing and not to sitting, not to we can do so much.
uh-huh.
And I don't
Absolutely.
like the kind of we're getting older and we can't do things.
Well, and there's no need for it. I was actually doing
Mm.
a video on proprioception, walking on uneven
Hmm.
ground, and down the beach over the stones and over the grass and the rocks.
Yeah.
Nobody does that now. And if you've not done that for 20 years, the minute you try to do it, you're likely
Mm.
going to fall or go over your ankle or something. It's really not
Yeah.
rocket science, but modern life, furniture, the chairs
Yeah.
on the floor anymore. And actually, since I moved back to the UK, I've really noticed that. In
Hmm.
Malta, we're always sitting on rocks, sitting in the sand, never actually even touched
Uh-huh.
furniture. That's amazing. And then you're up and down, and you're inadvertently moving the body and keeping everything strong. you know. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
lighting, pavements, all of that stuff is having an impact on the body. And then, of course, we've depleted our topsoil. So even when we're getting food, you
Mm.
have no idea. There's a few
That's
comments
yeah.
coming in here. Let me just, um, my
Because I'm not seeing any.
skin and swelling, stomachs are regular, energy low. I'm also menopausal too. So I don't know how the spleen was
Mm.
damaged. Need a wee bit more information, a bit of bloating, spleen coming out in the skin, energy low and menopausal. I mean, you can't answer that in a 2-minute question. We need a lot more information.
No, no, it goes with it. No, but it would be a really good. That's a person that could really really help because it's all
Yes,
it's all the areas
absolutely.
that there's loads of helpful supplement. Menopausal.
So, what foods would you be
Herbs,
recommending? Because
whatever.
what I'm seeing a lot of is adrenal. People are adrenal response and also chronic inflammation. So, what
Yeah,
kind of foods are you
I mean,
recommending?
for the kind of adrenal side as well, I usually when clients come to me, I've got a whole list of kind of stress helpers because I did healing and because I did other counselling courses and dealing with what else. I'll kind of add in the stress side and
Uh-huh.
and and there's free sites and there's things out there. There's loads of extra help because although there's brilliant foods just to calm all that down. I think if we actually actively do well, you've got all the breathing exercises, Lily. I mean, you've been doing tons of stuff there. Uh,
Yeah.
we need to breathe. We don't breathe, and uh, and then vitamin C rich things because our adrenals, the tiny little adrenal gland is absolutely packed with vitamin C and B vitamins, particularly B5. So whole grains
Hmm.
and good whole grains, gluten-free whole grains. I mean, the original kind of ones, the original grains are ancient grains are wonderful,
Yes.
and and then again, good sources of vitamin C. Plus,
Yeah.
it'll absorb our iron, so we're getting more energy or feeding the blood.
What about parasites and worms?
Well, it's whether it's tested for. I mean, you can do the basic cleanses and then use some. I mean, I tend to. It's a lot. I mean, there's loads of candida. I mean, I'm dealing with candida all the time and just have a kind of strategic plan so that they're starting off with just some dietary change, bring in the probiotics, bring in the probiotic foods, bring in the antifungals, and just annihilate it. But do it so it's not overwhelming. Because
Yes.
again, if we're not eliminating well, we're going to start feeling really rough and possibly give up. So
Yes.
it's putting a strategic plan of action and staying with it. And then, give it a good 2, 3 months and it
Yeah.
should be free because some people live with it for life.
How do you find people complying and sticking to it?
Pretty good. Yeah. I think compliance pretty good because I try to get people to do it slower.
Mhm.
And I'm so kind of aware of healing
Yes.
reactions and people not going through them because if you give up then they can come out the other side and feel brilliant, but I've
Mhm.
had people phone me because they feel rough because they've given up their potatoes or whatever it
Yes.
was,
Yes.
and hopefully if it's speedy they'll get through the other side, but if that was to go on a bit, so it's quite good to do things in a plan. So that's what I like to have a kind of, I'm quite listed. I usually give everybody a list. They go away with a list to work through. And I do suggest they don't do it at once because then they'll know what the difference is. Otherwise, you don't
Yes.
actually know which is what's causing something. And same with supplements. If see what as best you can. It's hard. Some supplements take longer, but as best you can to just see what's making a difference for
Yes.
you because we're so individual and we totally
Absolutely.
are. We're so individual in everything.
Yeah. Now, Lorraine's
Yeah.
asking if the people aren't consuming the food, how do you know they have an issue with it?
if you don't. Well, no, not with a vegan machine. You'd
Uh-huh.
have to use blood tests. But if they're happy to stop it, then I mean, if it's milk or it's wheat or whatever it is, that's fine. Then they stop it. They're not going to become deficient. There's loads of choices of and better and more nutritious choices. So
Yes.
you wouldn't know
Regardless.
with that. You would not know with that machine. You have to have it.
Uh-huh.
But I
I
remember having a
remember.
client, and it was meat that they had a problem with,
Uh-huh.
which they weren't allergic. What we realised, or what I realised when I thought about it, was that they just didn't have the enzymes. So basically, give her the enzymes and then start getting her to take apple cider vinegar and things that would help with protein uh,
Uh-huh.
digestion and just work with stress as well, because basically there was so much stress there that
Yes.
all the enzymes would be depleted, and just
Mhm.
add in more raw foods to give her enzymes, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say there? There was something in the.
Sorry.
Yes, you told me when you used to come to the gym, um,
Yeah.
I was, and both Xander and I, my son and I, it was the whey, not the curd.
Oh, aye. So yeah. So somebody, how might they do that? So it's milk. So they've got a milk intolerance, and masses of people do. I mean, a good percentage of the population,
Uh-huh.
because it's cow's milk anyway. Let's face it. And it's basically the whey in the casein. So, and it could be lactase they don't have either. So it could be lactose. So there's all these different components of that one food. So
Yes.
some people can eat cheese, but they can't have milk. Others can eat, they might be okay on milk, but they can't have cheese. But then
Mhm.
they could have some other milks anyway. So, it's what you've thought about and actually like. I mean, oat milk's lovely. Oat milk and
Yes.
cereals. I mean, there's very few people don't like oat milk and things that find that up there. They might not like coconut, or it might be, or rice milk might be too thin, or but other people like that because they've been drinking skim
Ah,
milk,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is high in protein, so
And is there
they
not a
don't
lot
get
of
the fats,
sugar
but
in
they're
oat
getting
milk?
a lot of what?
Sugar in oat milk, sugars.
Oh, it depends on it depends on the
And
brand. It's all about the brand. There's really, with everything, it's all about the brand, because there's some really cheap rubbish for all the milks, not just oat. I mean, the whole load.
uh-huh.
And so, I mean, for a lot of time, I was making my own almond milk, which I didn't. I mean, I was using it for making my own muesli,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't strain it. I didn't go through the process, because that takes a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time to throw a few almonds that you've soaked overnight, rinse
Yes.
them, and chuck them in some water, and chuck them into your and some natural vanilla in that. Oh, it's to die for.
Delicious.
At least
Yeah.
I think that's to die for.
Yeah, me too.
It's really
What about
nice.
granola? Making your own granola. That's what I love. That's what I do.
Perfect. Lots of really, really good recipes out there. And there's also some places where you can buy. I mean, I'm lucky to have a few, places that make their own, that are kind of farm shop places,
Nice.
and they're not laden with everything. So, I mean, granola, I get people to, I mean, some of them are so bad. They're so bad. They're
Yeah.
heaving with sugar and other other stuff, and other ones are much better.
Yeah. So you need to
So it's
just
not the
read.
differential. It's same with an egg. I mean, there's a caged egg, and there's a blooming
And
delicious organic home
yes.
homegrown, or just a bought really good farm. Not I don't mean farmed, but from a really small source of organic eggs, and they're chalk and cheese. They are not the same food.
I mean, as is pizza. Pizza and pasta get lumped together as rubbish.
Mm.
If they're made in a different way,
Again,
with
yeah,
again the way people in Sicily made them, they don't
yeah,
harm people at all. It's
yeah.
yeah, it's the
No,
way it's
you're totally
striving for,
true.
the genetically modified, the pesticides,
Yeah.
and the process, and striving to make it as cheap
Mm.
as possible. That's the big
Yep.
issue.
Yep, it's a real shame. I mean, we've got a local pasta maker in the next village.
Oh, no.
We make them from Scottish oats
Really?
and Scottish products. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
No, they're amazing.
Yeah. So listen, you're going to be at the festival and you're going to be
Yep.
taking appointments. So if anybody's watching this and has come to the festival and
If they
wants,
could PM me through my food clinic page that I think was linked
yes,
there, then I can in advance send them questionnaire, so they're actually pre-organized and I can bring them with me.
and you can organise the times, etc. And it's going to
Yep.
be out at Tarbert Holiday Park in one of the pods there, so that people know that when they want to come and see you. But can you? I mean, I know you can't obviously do the machine online, but you can do nutrition consultations online. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yep. I have done. I mean, quite often, even somebody's saying somebody's food diary, saying their questionnaire, and I've fixed people's diets just without saying them, with a small
You can just write back and say,
conversation on a phone.
"Are you having a laugh?" I used to love the food diaries. It just made me laugh so much. It was always the Iron Brew, and because you just think people know stuff like that, and Diet Coke. You know, you think you'd
Oh, I
assume
know.
people know that that is not good for your gut, but
I know.
yeah, they don't. So you do have to. It's an
Well, or they're
education.
so addicted they are and don't want to. I don't. Oh yeah, yeah. God, or can't even consider or think. I mean, if you've had that stuff too often and you're not eating a lot and you're eating a lot of rubbish, it does affect your mental health and
Mhm.
everything about that. Yeah,
Well, the microbiome,
very
isn't it?
hard.
You're
Oh,
feeding the wrong army.
absolute destruction. Can't clean it off. Apparently, the carpet cleaners can't get it out of carpet.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all.
So, and whereabouts
Powerful
do
tools.
you live if somebody wanted to come and have the test done?
What? Sorry.
Where do you live?
Oh, I'm in St Johnstown of Dalry, but
Okay.
every week I'm up in Ayrshire. I'm at my mum's in Kilmarnock.
Okay.
I go up and see her for a couple of days.
She's amazing. 94.
She is amazing. She's 94. She's on supplements. She gets a new supplement for anything that somebody suggests a drug for.
Ah, absolutely amazing. I saw that. I was like, wow, you're
And
so like her. So there's an
she's
opportunity to see you there as well with the Vega machine.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a bit closer to Glasgow, Central Scotland,
Yes.
whatever. So
Yeah.
that's an option to obviously down here.
Yeah.
But it's a
Okay.
lovely run into Dumfries and Galloway, that is for sure. Lovely
That is,
countryside, good
yeah.
walking.
Yeah. So you can make a day out of it. Well, that's brilliant. So anybody though that's living in Argyll that wants to come along at the festival, or because you don't
Mhm.
need to actually be coming to the festival. If you live in Argyll and want to see you, then they can come and do that.
Yeah,
Obviously, everybody that's at the
yeah.
festival's got a great opportunity. And then if anybody wants to get in touch with you, then they can just send you a message via the food clinic link.
That would be
And
great.
from there.
Yep, brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, that's brilliant. Thanks a million. But the other thing I would say, really, is because from my memory, you put a
Hmm.
little dial into your hand, don't you? It is kinesiology.
It's a thing like a mic. It looks like a microphone. So you've got this
Yes.
metal bar, and then at the end of this, I've got a little pen which gives the machine an energy circuit,
Uh-huh.
and then I've got little vials of the different test
Uh-huh.
things. So there's trying to work out 6 times 5. So there's about 100 and
Mm-hmm.
maybe
And
80
then
to 100. There's a lot. Yeah, there's quite a
it's,
lot.
it's
And
good to
the
know.
current sometimes can fall, but occasionally I have seen in people with migraines and things that actually the current went up the way.
Really.
So any difference. So yes, so it's
Uh-huh.
just kind of reading what that energy means, and
Yes.
you can actually just see how stable people's energy is as well, whether it is actually
Mm-hmm.
stable or whether it's flipping everywhere, in which case meditation,
Yes.
relaxation, breathing is probably more important to stay
Yeah.
grounded.
Yes. And
So
I think
just
we're
doing the
all doing
basics
now,
is
realizing it's a
mm,
holistic thing, isn't it? It's everything
yeah,
affecting
yes.
affecting the digestive system, the
Mm-hmm.
organ, the mental health. You know, it's all interconnected. You can't separate it out and up.
Yeah, no, you absolutely can't. We are the whole of all the, yep,
Yeah,
mind, body,
fantastic.
soul, and all the rest.
I know exactly. Right, well, brilliant. I will see you. I look forward to seeing you then
Mm.
for a proper catch up. And thanks so much for
Yeah,
your time.
that'd be great.
Okay, chat
Cheers.
soon.
Thanks for
Ciao.
having me here.